Welcome to The Signal and the Noise, a podcast where we cut through the internet's information overload to find what actually matters.
I'm your co-host, and today we're launching our very first episode.
And I couldn't be more excited. So here's the premise. Every week, we read through articles, essays, and content that's making waves online. And we extract the key messages, the signal, from all the noise.
Because let's be honest, there's so much content out there. Twitter threads, long-form essays, newsletters, blog posts. It's overwhelming.
Exactly. And a lot of it is really valuable. But who has time to read everything?
That's where we come in. We do the reading, we have the conversations, and we distill it down to what you actually need to know.
So for our inaugural episode, we're diving into an article by Dan Koe called How to Articulate Yourself Intelligently. And this one really caught our attention because it's about a skill most of us wish we had.
Yeah, you know when you're in a meeting or a conversation and someone just articulates their thoughts perfectly? Like they're speaking in perfectly structured paragraphs?
Laughs, and you're like, how did they do that? My brain just goes blank.
Exactly! Well, Dan Koe breaks down exactly how he learned to do this, and spoiler alert, it's not about being naturally smart or talented.
It's a system, and we're going to break it down for you. So let's cut through the noise and find the signal.
All right, so let's set the stage. Dan Koe has built a massive following online, over 500,000 people, and he's turned his writing into a multi-million-dollar business.
But here's what's interesting. He didn't always think he could articulate himself well. In fact, he thought some people were just born with that ability.
Right. He talks about listening to people like Alan Watts, Jordan Peterson, Daniel Schmachtenberger, these incredibly articulate thinkers, and feeling like he could never reach that level.
And here's the kicker. He often didn't even fully understand what they were saying.
Laughs, but because they sounded intelligent and articulate, he listened and gave them respect, which I think a lot of us can relate to.
Absolutely. We assume that if someone sounds smart, they must be smart.
So Dan was good in school, good at tests, good at memorizing information, but that's completely different from being able to explain complex ideas on the spot.
Yeah, school teaches you to memorize and regurgitate, not to think and communicate effectively in real time.
Exactly. So here's the key message from this first part. Articulation isn't a natural gift. It's a learned skill. And that's empowering because it means anyone can develop it.
Okay, so how do you develop it? That's what we all want to know.
This is where Dan introduces a concept I absolutely love, your inner album of greatest hits.
Okay, explain this to me.
Think about your favorite musician or band. They have a signature sound, right? You hear 3 seconds of a song and you immediately know who it is.
Yeah, like you can instantly recognize the Beatles or Billie Eilish.
Right. Now, if that artist suddenly switched genres, let's say a country artist tried to make techno music, their first track would probably be awful.
Because they haven't practiced that style thousands of times.
Exactly. They've refined their signature sound through repetition. And the same principle applies to being articulate.
So you're saying we need to develop our own signature ideas?
Yes! Dan says you need to write or speak thousands of times until your best ideas become obvious. You develop 8 to 10 core ideas, your greatest hits, that you've thought through so deeply, you can connect them to almost any topic.
Wait, so it's not about having an encyclopedic knowledge of everything, it's about having a handful of ideas you know inside and out?
Precisely. When you're asked to speak or write about something, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from one of your greatest hits and connecting it to the new topic.
That's brilliant. So it's like you're remixing your core ideas rather than improvising entirely new ones every time.
Perfect analogy. And Dan says this became especially important when he started getting invited to high-production podcasts, the kind where tens of thousands of dollars are on the line.
So the signal here is, you can't improvise articulation in the moment. You need to have done the deep thinking beforehand.
Exactly. Preparation is the secret.
Okay, so you've got your core ideas, but how do you actually structure them when you're speaking or writing?
Great question. Dan gives us 3 frameworks ranging from beginner to advanced. Let's start with the simplest one. Problem, amplify, solution.
That sounds straightforward.
It is! Step 1, state a relatable problem, something you've observed or experienced. Step 2, amplify it. Show what happens if it goes unsolved. This creates urgency and desire for a solution. Step 3, present your solution.
So it's basically, here's the problem, here's why you should care, here's how to fix it.
Exactly. Simple but powerful, especially for short-form content like tweets or quick videos.
What's the next level?
The second framework is called the pyramid principle. This is intermediate level, and it's all about answer-first communication.
Answer first, so you don't build suspense?
Nope. You start with your main conclusion or recommendation right at the top. Then you support it with 3 to 5 key arguments. Dan recommends asking why 3 to 5 times to drill into your reasoning. And finally, you back everything up with evidence, data, examples, stories, analysis.
This is like the opposite of what we learned in school, where you build up to your thesis at the end of an essay.
Exactly. But in modern communication, people want the bottom line up front. This framework respects their time and attention.
I love that. Okay, what's the advanced method?
This one's really sophisticated. It's called cross-domain synthesis. Basically, you create unique insights by pulling from multiple disciplines.
Give me a concrete example.
Sure. You start with a problem and amplify it, just like the first framework. But then, and this is the key, you introduce a concept from a completely different field to explain your point. Maybe you use a principle from biology to explain a business problem, or you use physics to talk about relationships.
Oh, like using metaphors from nature?
Exactly. Then you present your unique framework or solution. This is what makes your thinking memorable and original. You're connecting dots that others don't see.
That's powerful. So the more diverse your knowledge, the more unique connections you can make.
Precisely. And this is where having that inner album really pays off. You can pull from all these different areas you've been exploring.
So the signal from this segment is, you need mental frameworks to organize your thoughts, and you can scale in sophistication as you develop.
Perfect summary.
Now Dan also introduces something he calls writing Legos. What's that about?
These are like mental building blocks you can use when you're stuck and don't know what to say next.
Okay, I'm listening. What are they?
First, pain point. When you're stuck, start here. Identify a problem or frustration.
Got it.
Second, example. Give a specific, concrete illustration of what you're talking about.
Makes sense.
Third, story. Share a personal narrative or something you observed. Stories make abstract ideas tangible.
Love stories.
Fourth, data. Include statistics, research, or numbers to back up your point.
The evidence.
Fifth, metaphor. Explain complex ideas as if you're talking to a child. Alan Watts was a master at this.
Okay, what else?
Sixth, quote. Include a relevant quote that supports what you're saying.
Classic.
Seventh, reframe. Give people a different perspective on what you just discussed. Challenge assumptions.
Ooh, I like that.
And finally, what, how, or why. When all else fails, just ask these questions, because thinking is questioning.
So these are like mental tools you can grab when your brain goes blank?
Exactly! Dan says once you practice using these, it becomes second nature. Your thinking process literally rewires.
That's the signal right there. You need a toolkit of mental moves to keep your thoughts flowing.
And it's not about talent, it's about having systems.
All right, let's extract the key signals from today's episode.
Signal number 1. Articulation is not a natural gift. It's a practiced skill. You develop it through repetition, not innate talent.
Signal number 2. Build your inner album of greatest hits. Develop 8 to 10 core ideas that you've thought through deeply. These become your foundation for all communication.
Signal number 3. Use frameworks to structure your thoughts. Whether it's problem, amplify, solution, the pyramid principle, or cross-domain synthesis, having structure helps you think clearly.
And signal number 4. Keep mental building blocks ready. Pain points, examples, stories, data, metaphors. These are your writing Legos when you get stuck.
The overarching message. You don't need to memorize everything or know everything. You need to deeply understand your core ideas and practice articulating them.
It's a system, not magic, which means it's accessible to anyone willing to put in the work.
So here's your action item. Pick one idea you care about, something you want to articulate better. Then practice explaining it using the frameworks we covered today.
Write it down. Say it out loud. Record yourself. Get uncomfortable. That's how you grow.
And that's a wrap on episode 1 of The Signal and the Noise. If you found this helpful, please subscribe wherever you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever.
Leave us a review. It genuinely helps other people discover the show. And if you have articles or content you'd like us to analyze, send them our way.
We'll link to Dan Koe's full article in the show notes if you want to dive deeper. It's worth the read.
Next week on The Signal and the Noise, we're breaking down an article about digital minimalism and reclaiming your attention in a distracted world.
Should be a good one. Thanks for tuning in to our very first episode.
Until next time, cut through the noise, find the signal.
See you next week.